Coming up, Kamala Harris makes history during the last night of the Democratic National Convention.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The fourth and final night of the Democratic National Convention just wrapped up. The night was a celebration as Vice President Kamala Harris accepted her party's nomination for president. CBS's Skylar Henry has been at the convention all week and has the latest.
Chicago's United Center was at peak capacity when Vice President Kamala Harris took to the stage to accept her party's nomination.
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
The Democratic nominee called for unity and warned that returning former President Donald Trump to the White House could have devastating consequences for the country.
I will be a president who unites us.
Recent polls put Harris in a dead heat with Trump, and her campaign filled the night with Democratic heavyweights from battleground states.
Donald Trump skipped his intelligence briefings.
Donald Trump called me that woman from Michigan as an insult.
Kamala Harris will fight for you to the very end.
Oh, say, can you see?
The Chicks kicked off the primetime event, performing an a cappella version of the national anthem. There was a strong emphasis on patriotism, with VP nominee Tim Walz watching it all from the stands. Delegates also wore white, a nod to suffragists who fought to earn the right to vote more than 100 years ago. And the theme of joy stayed consistent to the end. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Chicago.
On this final night of the Democratic National Convention, former President Donald Trump campaigned in Arizona, focusing on immigration and touring the southern border and pushing for stricter penalties.
We will impose tough new sentences on illegal alien criminals. These include a 10-year mandatory minimum sentence for anyone guilty of human smuggling, a guaranteed life sentence for anyone guilty of child trafficking, and a death penalty for anyone guilty of child or woman sex trafficking.
His running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, addressed public safety and border security in Georgia. The Trump campaign says the former president will be joined by a special guest at his Glendale, Arizona rally late tomorrow. Amid speculation, independent candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. will drop out of the race and possibly endorse Trump. 5th District Congressman Hal Rogers is the longest-serving Kentuckian ever elected to a federal office in Kentucky. He won his 23rd consecutive nomination in the May Republican primary. The 86-year-old is not ruling out running again in 2 years. I asked him during a taping of Issues and Answers this week to reflect on his legacy.
I did all I could to help an area that desperately needed help. It breaks my heart to see some of the poverty, difficulties, flooding, loss of a coal job, and so forth. It breaks my heart to see that. And that keeps me going day to day, year to year in Congress.
You can see the full interview Monday night at 7 on WYMT.
Well, the warming trend started today as temperatures were in the upper 70s and low 80s. We made it to 79 in Hazard, 78 was the high in Jackson, 82 was the high in Somerset. Monticello made it to 80, 82 in Harlan, 72 in Wise, 73 in Clintwood. And right now, not bad at all. 50s and 60s. We're at 66 in Jackson, 60 in Prestonsburg, 65 in Pikeville, 55 in Hazard, 59 in Williamsburg. Live pinpoint Doppler radar showing a clean sweep across the area. And again, this will get a break as we go throughout the weekend. Next 12 hours has temperatures in the upper 50s by the 6 o'clock time frame, upper 70s. So you see that quick jump by noon. When you wake up in the morning, we'll see temperatures in the 40s over towards Manchester, upper 40s, low 50s from Irvin down to Williamsburg, mid 50s from Jackson over towards Hazard, back up towards Prestonsburg. I'll have your complete first alert forecast coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thank you. A vehicle crashed into a building this afternoon in Laurel County. It happened on South Main Street close to 4:30 today. London Mayor Randall Weddle posted these pictures on Facebook. Weddle said he initially thought dozens of people might be displaced, but nobody was. One person was taken to a hospital. Main Street at Armory Street was partially shut down, but has since reopened. This morning, the Laurel County Fiscal Court voted to prohibit the sale of medicinal cannabis in Laurel County. The ruling can, though, be reviewed and voted on again at a later date. London Mayor Randall Weddle says folks need to be educated on the benefits of medicinal cannabis.
But it's about educating the public, getting the information out. We've already talked once within our council meetings about this, and we will talk more about it before November gets here. And then also opening it up for individuals out of the state level to talk to individuals down here. One day we're trying to plan to get it opened up at the community center. But it's about educating the public.
The City of London will vote whether or not to allow the sale of medicinal cannabis in November. Others across the state may also see a ballot resolution about medical cannabis in November. Jessica Umbro has more.
These communities are ready for this. A lot of them have been waiting for this for a long time. And it's not just for the big cities to be able to have these dispensaries. It's important for access all across our state.
Matthew Bratcher of Kentucky NORML, a group dedicated to reforming cannabis laws in Kentucky, says the nearly 200 total business applications for the Kentucky Medical Cannabis Program proves that interest is there. But local government disputes on whether or not to allow the business could be delaying applications.
While some counties and cities have already filled in those opt-in or opt-out applications with the state, some are leaving it up to the public, a decision that will be made at the ballot box this November.
It's not going to be for every community. And obviously, there's only a small amount of places where the dispensaries can go anyway, right?
This map shows the counties where voters could see a ballot resolution this November. Red shows where the resolution is countywide. Green shows where it can be seen in both county and city-specific ballots. Blue shows where it will be seen on only city-specific ballots. And purple shows where it will not be on the ballot as of August 22nd. Bratcher says the medical cannabis vote could have a similar pattern to the wet-dry vote.
Once they see how other jurisdictions, other municipalities are attacking this and structuring their zoning ordinances and any kind of fee structure they may have, that'll make other places a whole lot more comfortable in allowing, say, a cultivation place.
Bratcher says the key to the program is accessibility.
You don't want to have an hour and a half drive just to pick up your medicine.
In Frankfort, Jessica Umbro, WKYT.
Well, the lists of opt-in and opt-out are not final. In Whitley County, for example, there is a measure making its way through local government that would prohibit the business in the county. Our sister station reports a second reading on that measure is set for next month. The Communication Workers of America is continuing its strike against AT&T. Workers in the CWA's 3rd District are picketing for what they claim are unfair labor conditions, saying their contracts expired at the beginning of August, and AT&T representatives have yet to show up to the table to sign a tentative agreement for the next contract session. Local 3317 President Joe Fields says they are asking for consideration and communication before returning.
It's not about pay or benefits. It's just getting someone to the table that can bargain for those things and actually sign, have the authority to sign their name, and get this thing going.
The strike just wrapped its 7th day. Field says he is hopeful that something will be worked out now that a moderator has been asked to work between the union and the company. A big change is coming for the Knott County School District later this school year. As we first reported Tuesday night, Superintendent Brent Hoover is retiring effective October 1st. He served the Knott County School District for nearly 30 years in various roles, but after his education career ends, he says the relationships will stay with him.
Some of the best years of my life were spent in the classroom, and some of the friendships, some of my best friends that I have right now are former students of mine, and I will forever treasure that.
Hoover says he began his career at Emelina Elementary and has taught every grade from 5th to 12th. Kentuckians have 1 month left to apply for FEMA assistance following storms that happened around Memorial Day weekend. This is for homeowners and renters in a few of our counties, Clay, Whitley, and Knox. Applicants who wish to apply for disaster assistance need to have things ready for registration, such as a Social Security number and types of insurance coverage. You can call FEMA at 1-800-621-3362. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, an effort to increase awareness of right to life boxes as abortion is in the forefront during this presidential election.
And the summer heat is going to make a return this weekend. Details in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes.
Food.